We have more snow, freezing rain, and wind to contend with today. We will share the honest take that we are all thinking at this point, just not saying, plus share what to expect on your drive this morning.
And here's a story to get us looking forward to warmer weather. We're previewing the first farmers market of the season. Straight ahead.
From the Channel3000.com Alert Center, this is News 3 Now this morning.
Good morning, everybody, and thanks for joining us for News 3 Now this morning on this Wednesday, April 11th. Yeah, halfway through April, and there are school closings and delays. Scrolling at the bottom of your screen, Royal is closed. A number of other schools delayed for this weather.
Yeah, right, just won't quit. 1,200 or so customers without power in Baraboo, 800 or so in north side of Madison. Sorry, Hads, there's just a lot to talk about because of this weather.
Yeah, the weather is causing all sorts of problems this morning. You're probably hearing that wind howling outside your house this morning. Our camera is shaking around. This is the WISC-TV camera looking to the east. We're not going to see any sunshine today with the strong storm moving through the area. It is an alert day. It will impact travel for the area, and it might also impact your plans later on this afternoon. We have a marginal risk for severe weather later today. Here's a look at the winter weather advisory that's in effect until 1 o'clock this afternoon for areas north of Dane County. That's where you see the best chance for a little bit of mixed precipitation yet this morning. Wind advisory for the remainder of the area until 1 o'clock as well. We're talking wind gusts to 45 miles an hour. Now on Doppler track this morning, earlier I did see a few lightning strikes with that rain moving through Iowa County, so you may be hearing some rumbles of thunder. Also, you can see that it's starting to mix with some sleet or even a little bit of freezing rain in some spots on the northern edge of that rain. So still not out of the woods for some mixed precipitation yet this morning. By the time we get to the lunch hour, though, it'll be all rain for southern Wisconsin. Temperatures will be climbing into the 40s today, but it certainly won't feel that mild. East winds keeping it feeling much colder. Those winds sustained around 20 to 30 miles an hour. Let's take a look at your traffic maps this morning. Again, if you're driving a high-profile vehicle, be aware of that strong easterly winds. It will impact north-south roads the most. There is an accident on the eastbound side of I-94 right at County Road N. No delays, though, in that area just yet. No other delays on the Beltline. Still a little early for volume issues. But keep in mind, it's kind of a two hands on the wheel kind of day.
Yeah, Hattie, yesterday we were listening to the birds chirp behind you. Today it is straight wind. That's all you can hear.
That's about all I can hear as well. I can barely hear myself speak.
Glad to see you made it back inside, though.
Yeah.
Thank you, Hattie.
You're welcome.
So let's be honest, more snow in the forecast today is not something most of us would be asking for, especially in April. Luckily, it didn't stick to the roads for the most part yesterday, but the drive was still a little more slick than usual. A semi went off the road west of Boston. That shut down the interstate for hours during the evening commute. We talked with some people about this weather, and if you are ready for spring, you can certainly relate to Claire Weiler.
I think it's death to me because we've had snow since, like, I don't know. And I thought it was finally gone and it was nice, and no, it just came back. It was like, nope, I'm coming back to annoy the crap out of you people.
Preach, girl.
That's good stuff. As we wait for spring, State Patrol is also reminding us all about those winter standards. That means slow down, give other drivers plenty of space, and leave yourself plenty of time to get to where you're going.
A statewide tornado drill that was scheduled for today has now been pushed back to tomorrow due to today's potential for severe weather. You heard Hattie talking about that thunder tonight. The drill will include a mock tornado watch at 1 p.m., followed by 2 mock tornado warnings at 1:45 and 6:45. Again, that's happening tomorrow.
Breaking news into the Channel 3000 Alert Center this morning. WikiLeaks founder Julian Assange has been arrested at the Ecuadorian embassy in London. Assange had been living at the embassy in Ecuador since 2012, but that country withdrew his asylum status. He has been avoiding arrest for publishing thousands of classified U.S. military documents through WikiLeaks. He's also accused of helping the Russians publish emails stolen from the Clinton campaign and the Democratic Party during the 2016 election. CBS This Morning will have much more on this developing story coming up after 7.
A former UW health doctor charged with sexually assaulting a patient is set to be in court later today. Michael Thom faces a court account of second-degree sexual assault by a healthcare employee and another for fourth-degree sexual assault. According to a criminal complaint, Thom groped and kissed a female patient back in 2016. He's also accused of texting her illicit photos. He surrendered his medical license back in 2017. His attorney at that time claimed his relationship with the patient was consensual. Tom's initial hearing is scheduled for 10:30 this morning. The mother of the 15-year-old Reedsburg boy who died during a 40-day fast in September is set to be sentenced today. Tidaleo Amosby pleaded guilty to felony child neglect causing death back in December. Her husband, Kehinde Amosby, will also be in court today for a preliminary hearing. He described himself to police as a religious minister and told officers the family was fasting in order to get God's blessing to move to Atlanta.
Leaders in Dane County want to make sure minorities and underrepresented communities here are accounted for in the 2020 census. The county executives appointing community leaders from historically undercounted individuals and groups to join a new committee. That includes those representing the homeless, young children, and the Latino and Hmong communities. That is, the census is taken every decade. It is really important because it determines the number of congressional seats and electoral college votes that each state gets. And it also guides how an estimated $880 billion a year in federal funding is distributed for things like schools, roads, and other public services. New in 2020, the U.S. Census Bureau will be offering self-reporting online along with paper and phone surveys.
6:06 your time now. For many Madison folks, shoppers and farmers, this weekend is the true start of spring, even if it doesn't feel like it quite yet.
Yeah, the Dane County Farmers Market is officially back on the square, and Christina Laurie is live downtown this morning with what we all need to know before heading out this year. And apparently, Christina, we definitely need to know the forecast, right?
You definitely do. I feel a little bit like I might blow away this morning, but luckily conditions are going to be a lot better this Saturday here on the square for the first outdoor market of the season. So here's what you need to know before you grab your reusable bag and go. This year, there are 270 members as part of the Dane County Farmers Market system. They won't all be here at the same time, though. On any given Saturday, you'll find between 130 to 160 of them. There are 9 new vendors this year selling a wide range of products, from organic cranberries, organic apples, to goat meat and smoked trout. In season right now are lots of greens, lettuce mixes, kale, and spinach. You can also pick up storage crops like potatoes, sweet potatoes, carrots, and cabbage. And like any spring, there will be lots and lots of plants. But the market's claim to fame and what sets it apart from every other farmer's market in the entire country is that it's the largest producer-only market.
Having the producer be the person behind the stand is absolutely an amazing resource. We've all walked around the farmers market and kind of been tempted by something that was so beautiful, but you don't actually know what to do with it. Ask the person.
Now let's talk market strategy. If you want first pick of produce for sale, come early. The market opens at 6:15. Sarah says crowds really start to pick up at 10 o'clock, so you might find that sweet spot slightly before that. I'll talk more about market strategy and as well as some other new items you might find here at the market ahead in our 6:30 hour.
Poor Christina and Hattie out there. You really can't
Wind's
even
blowing
hear
away the
yourself
words. Yeah.
speak this morning.
The wind has me a bit discombobulated.
That's okay. That's all right. It would for us too. Christina, thank you so much.
New this morning, the Sauk City Public Library has a new home thanks to a $1 million donation from the Craig C. Culver Family Foundation. Madison.com is reporting that money will help buy the Straightforward building just off Phillips Boulevard. It's actually right across the street from the Culvers in town. Once the library books move in, families will be able to take a look at historic village photos there. There's also train tracks preserved inside that building that used to bring granite straight to headstone carvers at Spellman Monument Works, which originally occupied that space a century ago. Pretty cool.
Yeah, definitely. 6:09 right now. Schools in Wanawak are now closed today. That area has about 200 customers without power this morning. We'll get a check on this weather coming up from Hattie in your First Alert forecast.
And after the break, Dr. Mandira Mera is joining us to talk about a scary increase in the number of kids being hospitalized for suicidal thoughts or even attempts. That's when News 3 Now this morning continues.
Yeah, at least we didn't have to break out the shovel. Snow accumulation in southwestern Minnesota could top out at 2 feet. 2 feet by this weekend. And the Twin Cities drivers are in for a messy commute this morning with a mix of rain, sleet, and snow. Moral of the story, it could always be worse. But we have to tell that twice to Hattie McLean, who's outside really just trying to stay upright.
Yeah, it is a struggle this morning. It's very windy outside. I think I'm starting to see some raindrops here as well. Have the umbrella in hand just in case, but it is going to be one of those days. It is all in the forecast. Once again, we still have the threat for mixed precipitation yet this morning for southern Wisconsin. By this afternoon, it will be all rain for the area, and we are talking a marginal risk for severe weather a little bit later on today as well. So let's get you up to date on all the details. Winter weather advisory in effect for areas north of Dane County this morning. That goes until 1 o'clock this afternoon. We could still see some light snow accumulations, but it looks like less than an inch for our viewing area. That's not the case, though, for the northern part of the state. They still could see a couple of inches of snow yet today. Now, here's a look at what's happening on the radar map. We do have some light precipitation moving into the western side of Dane County. It still is in the form of mixed precipitation. This precipitation falls and cools the atmosphere as it falls through the different layers. So we still could see some sleet, maybe a little bit of freezing rain mixed with that rain and snow this morning. Some rumbles of thunder possible as well. I've seen some lightning strikes show up on that radar map. The severe weather outlook for today does include a marginal risk for severe weather from Wisconsin Dells and points to the south all the way into northern Illinois. So not out of the question to see some strong thunderstorms may produce some damaging winds and large hail. Wind advisory is in effect. Speaking of those winds, you've probably been hearing them all night. East winds picked up during the evening hours yesterday and really haven't let up. Wind speeds are anywhere from 20 to 30 miles an hour. That's sustained wind speeds. As we look at wind gusts, they're even higher. I've seen wind gusts to 46 miles an hour this morning. Currently, we're seeing wind gusts in the 35 to 40 mile an hour range. Now, our future track wind speed through the day shows you very strong easterly winds. This will impact north-south roadways, especially if you're driving a high-profile vehicle, so keep that in mind. The winds stay strong even into the evening hours, diminishing overnight tonight. Our current temperature readings, we're in the 30s this morning, but it feels colder when you factor in the wind. Take a look at your future track forecast model. It does still depict a messy mix of precipitation through about 11 o'clock this morning. After lunchtime, just a few rounds of showers and possible thunderstorms pushing from west to east across southern Wisconsin. The rain threat diminishes overnight and most areas should stay dry on Friday. Still is a slight chance for a little bit of rain on Friday, but otherwise cloudy, windy, and cool with a high of 44. Saturday will be the best day of the weekend, 47 with some sunshine. Rain and snow chances are back in the forecast then on Sunday. You can hear that wind picking up in the backyard weather patio. It's a two hands on the wheel kind of day. Josh, what are you seeing on the traffic maps?
Yeah, well, starting off, there may be a few slippery areas on the road this morning. Just make sure you drive with some caution, especially with that wind. So far, though, the Beltline is moving well with no major issues in either direction. Looking at some other roads here in Dane County, there is a crash on I-94 after the Highway N exit, but prior to the Highway 73 Marshall-Deerfield exit. It's blocking the right-hand shoulder. Make sure you plan on some extra time there. No delays showing up downtown around campus. We'll look for things to get busier over the next hour or so. And other routes heading into the city, they're moving at the usual speeds with no major issues. For your First Alert Traffic, I'm Josh Tim.
Thank you, Josh, and thank you, Hattie. So the number of teens and kids visiting emergency rooms across this country for suicidal thoughts or attempts is increasing and quickly.
A new analysis finds that number doubled between 2007 and 2015. Our medical expert, Dr. Mandira Mehra, is joining us this morning to talk about the trend. And these are terrifying numbers for any parents out there.
They are, and this is such a serious, really heavy conversation, but such an important conversation. I mean, when we talk about the fact that between the ages of 10 and 18, suicide is the second leading cause of death, this is cause for alarm. This is a public health issue, if not crisis at this point. The fact that between those years that the suicide rates and the emergency visits actually doubled shows us that there's something happening that's different from 20, 30 years ago. Why is this number alarming? We are seeing, studies are showing that depression is increasing, anxiety, and of course that's linked to things like suicide and suicide attempts. They say that the number one things parents can do, and even people at school, teachers, is really just initiating that conversation. There's always a fear that if we talk about suicide, perhaps we'll be implanting this idea or that will increase that risk. But almost every study shows the same thing, that talking about it does not necessarily increase that risk. In fact, it can save a life. And so that in itself is an important thing. Kids and teenagers that have been talked to and they said, how did you cope with this when you did have these thoughts of harming yourself or ending your life? And they said it was so important when someone just took the time to say, are you having thoughts of harming yourself? Are you having thoughts of ending your life? So having that really heavy, maybe conversation is important. Now you have to remember there's also resources out there. So if you are a child, if you're a teenager, really any age, because it's not just children that are being affected. Interestingly, the studies are showing that all age groups over the past 20 years, their risk for suicide has increased, if not doubled in some age populations. The question is, what's causing this? Is it too much pressure on kids? They think that today there's too much pressure on kids to succeed not only in school, but of course social media, cyberbullying, all these issues combined, in combination with the fact that there's an extreme shortage for child and adolescent psychiatrists. So the fact that families will reach out for help and then have these long waiting periods, sometimes months, before they can get in and have these mental health issues addressed. So that also leaves families feeling kind of hopeless. Where we can go from here is starting to reach out to schools, of course talking to our government, but really knowing that there still are resources out there, that you never have to feel completely hopeless. At least initiate that conversation. If you are having any thoughts at any age, especially if you are a child or teenager, really reaching out to somebody and saying, you know, I'm having these thoughts, I'm maybe thinking of ending my life, knowing that you're not alone, there are resources, and of course we can always help you.
Yeah, we would love to see some of these folks make it into a therapy session rather than the ER, that's for sure. And while we're on this topic of mental health, we do want to mention our Be You campaign, because this is all about encouraging kids to be themselves and to be confident and hopefully avoid a situation where they feel like this is the only choice. So we have more information on what it means to be a Be You ambassador. We're looking for adults that lead kids in this message. To apply, that's over on our Time for Kids page on channel3000.com. And of course, we have lots of resources like you were talking about too, Dr. Mara, over there as well. So
yep, I heard a 12-year-old girl say this well about life the other day. She said, you know what, maybe there will be waves in life, maybe difficulties will come. We can't change those waves, but we can definitely learn how to surf. So thank you to the 12-year-old that gave us that quote.
It's good to see you, Dr. Mara. Thank you so much.
Nice to see you.
Have a good one. So if you are hanging on to an old cell phone because maybe you'll need it if your current device breaks, well, the DNR has a message for you. We will share where you can safely recycle those items coming up.
And freezing rain, thunderstorms, snow, anything is possible today in Hattie's forecast. Crews are working to get the lights back on for more than 2,500 households in our area. News 3 Now This Morning is back after this.
Good morning. I'm meteorologist Hattie McLean. There is a strong thunderstorm moving through parts of our area this morning. Northern parts of Sauk County likely seeing some pea-sized hail this morning. Our radar map showing you that there is some precipitation moving through the area. If you are seeing some of that in Sauk County, it is hail right now. Also, lots of lightning associated with that storm. Here's a look at what's happening across southern Wisconsin. Temperatures are in the low to mid 30s this morning. It is a chilly start to the day, especially when you factor in the wind. Wind chills are in the teens and 20s this morning. Yeah, it's mid-April and we're still talking wind chill here in southern Wisconsin. Make sure the kids are bundled up. There is some rain and strong winds in the forecast through the day today. High temperatures, though, will be in the 40s. Have a wonderful day.
We certainly will. Thank you, Hattie. So a new DNR survey shows that while some Wisconsin residents are recycling their electronics, a lot of us and a lot of households are keeping the devices they no longer use in storage.
I'm one of them. Of the estimated 26 million devices in Wisconsin households, 9 million are not in use. That includes about 22% of TVs, 30% of computers, and 50% of cell phones. Survey results show many people just don't know where or how to recycle electronics. The DNR says spring and summer are popular times for collection events, so now's a good time to start looking around. There is a free list of drop-off sites on the DNR's website. Just search eCycle.
The latest statistics show double the number of hunters are submitting deer samples for chronic wasting disease in Wisconsin, which helps us get a better feel for just how widespread it is. More than 17,000 deer were tested last year. That's compared to less than 10,000 in 2017. According to the DNR, the increase in sampling is due in part to new self-serve kiosks that provide 24/7 drop-off options for hunters and new CWD education efforts. Right now, 56 of Wisconsin's 72 counties have been affected by CWD.
6:25 your time now. There are questions this morning about why a man facing domestic abuse charges was allowed to stay at an abuse prevention and support facility.
We'll have more on that. Plus, if you're already planning a trip somewhere warm next year, there are new rules about using your driver's license at security checkpoints at the airport. The day's top stories are next on News 3 Now this morning.
Dane County supervisors will vote today on new surveillance and technology upgrades for the jail.
And the square is alive with the sounds and smells of summer. Well, almost. The outdoor Dane County Farmers Market kicks off this weekend. We have a preview of what you can expect.
From the Channel3000.com Alert Center, this is News 3 Now this morning.
More like the sound of wind out there. Good morning, by the way, and welcome to the final half hour of News 3 Now this morning on this Wednesday, April 11th. It is so windy out there, and it's causing some problems for power outages across our area, a couple thousand.
Yeah, we are seeing hundreds of people throughout Madison and Middleton alone. MG&E now reporting some issues even north of Cross Plains, so kind of west in this area right now. Schools are closed, delayed. The whole mess. Hattie, let's turn it over to her because it feels like we're just like flashing back to February at this point, Pads.
I know. Old man winter just will not go away. We had beautiful weather earlier this week. It feels a little bit more like winter outside this morning. Let's get you up to date with what's happening on the radar map this morning. Still very colorful, so a mix of precipitation being indicated on the radar map. We've had a strong thunderstorm move through northern parts of Sauk County, dropping some small hail. There's also been frequent lightning strikes with that storm, so you may be waking up to some thunder this morning. Just a few sprinkles starting here in the on the west side of Madison. Rain is in the forecast today, as well as that mix yet this morning. Let's take a view, and you can see that there is more development off to our west across Iowa, so there will be several rounds of showers and thunderstorms moving through the area today. At least we're relatively warm, so mainly will fall in the form of liquid precipitation. The marginal risk for severe weather across the southern part of the state, Dells to the best chance for storms will be a little bit later on today, and the main threat would be large hail and damaging. So keep that in mind. The statewide tornado drill has been postponed to tomorrow with that severe weather risk today. Now our temperatures are going to climb into the 40s, but strong easterly winds mean it's not going to feel that warm. Those winds may be gusting to 45 miles an hour. We have wind advisories in effect for the area. Here's a look at your traffic maps this morning. No issues here in Madison. Starting to see some brake lights though on Stoughton Road as you approach the Beltline. Otherwise, a couple of other issues to talk about around the area. There's an accident on the eastbound side of I-94 near Highway 73. Be aware of that. I'm not seeing any delays there. But also with weather conditions today, the Merrimack Ferry is closed. Wanted to let you know about that.
All right, we appreciate it. Thank you so much, Hattie.
You're welcome.
There are some questions this morning about why a man facing domestic violence charges was allowed to live at an abuse prevention and support group property. Zachary Allen is accused of domestic violence and disorderly conduct in relation to an incident that happened back in December. Allen is the son of the executive director of Hope House in Baraboo. Records show Allen lived at a satellite property owned by the organization for months after being charged with domestic abuse. He lived there as recently as last month in exchange for doing maintenance work. Allen is no longer living at the property. Law enforcement hope the situation does not diminish the good Hope House does for its community.
It's through resources like Hope House that help us, law enforcement, do our jobs to make sure that no one else gets victimized. We would love a world where domestic abuse becomes a thing of the past.
Police Captain Rob Sinden says officers are aware of Allen's relationship to Hope House, but that he isn't treated differently than anyone else. It is unclear if any Hope House residents also lived at that building at the same time as Allen. He's due back in court in July.
Into the Channel 3000 Alert Center this morning, Fitchburg police are looking for a woman suspected of robbing a gas station last night who may still be armed. Officers responded to the stop and go on Fish Hatchery Road last night. Right around 10 o'clock, the clerk told police a woman wearing gray pants, a camouflage jacket, and a hood pulled tightly around her face took cash and cigarettes. She did imply she had a gun, but never showed that weapon. She drove away in a four-door black sedan. That vehicle was last seen on Post Road. Anyone with information is asked to call the Fitchburg Police Department. As Dane County works on a new plan for updated jail facilities, there is a new vote today, I should say, to make sure the current jail stays safe for law enforcement and inmates. Supervisors will approve contracts to maintain and repair security systems and upgrade surveillance. The sheriff specifically asking for money to replace the video monitoring setup there, which would allow recorded videos to be more effectively maintaining someone's privacy. Recently, the jail introduced a new X-ray machine to scan visitors for contraband and prevent that from getting into cells.
A new state Supreme Court justice will be sworn in August after his opponent conceded the race more than a week after the election. Judge Lisa Neubauer released a statement yesterday saying she had called Judge Brian Hagedorn and wished him the best, adding she hopes he keeps partisan influences out of the court. The two were separated by 0.5 percentage point, or about 6,000 votes. With that margin, Neubauer could have called for a recount, but her campaign would have had to pay for it. The results mean conservative-leaning judges will have a majority on Wisconsin's highest court for at least the next few years. Over in McFarland, Brad Zaboter will keep his seat as village president this morning after election results there were triple-checked to show he is the winner. Yesterday, the Board of Canvassers opened an absentee ballot that was just recently discovered. It had the potential to change the election results as that race came down to just one vote. The ballot was cast for incumbent Zaboter, meaning he actually defeated his challenger, Carolyn Clow, by 2 votes. All right, 6:35 your time now. Here is the sign we needed on this chilly morning that warmer weather is on the way.
The forecast is cool but sunny for the first Dane County Farmers Market of the season, officially back on the square this weekend. Christina Laurie joins us live downtown this morning from a windy Capitol Square to share what we should know before setting the alarm on Saturday. Hi, Christina.
Good morning, ladies. For market enthusiasts like me, it's been a long 5 months without any white tents pitched here along the square, without that smell of hot and spicy cheese bread permeating throughout the air, and without a real reason to use my farmer's market bag. Well, that all changes this weekend as the 48th season of the Dane County Outdoor Farmers Market kicks off. From this Saturday until November, you'll find between 130 and 160 vendors on any given Saturday here on the square. There are 9 new vendors this year selling a wide range of products from organic cranberries and organic apples to goat meat, smoked trout, and more. What makes our market so unique is that it's the largest producer-only market in the country. That means the person selling you the food is the one who grew it or made it. Now, let's talk market strategy. If you want first pick of fresh produce, the market opens at 6:15, but you don't have to get there that early to have a good experience.
Typically, we see the crowds really starting around 10, so there's kind of that nice sweet spot for families who don't want to wake up at 6:15, but maybe come at 8, and there's still enough elbow room to navigate your way through the crowd.
There's also a strategy for coming later in the day because farmers don't want to take home the things they bought with them to sell, so you might get a better deal. In season right now, if you go this Saturday, a lot of greens, so kale, lettuce, spinach, as well as storage crops. That's your potatoes, sweet potatoes, cabbage, and carrots. And of course, it's spring, so you can expect lots and lots of flowers. And those, I could use some this morning after standing out here. You guys want to buy me some?
Yeah, I'll do that for you. Christina, in your bag, I know you have some winter hat gear going on. Do you also have a map of like your strategy for where to go?
Yeah, I do. I have a extra headband in here. I have some extra gloves. That's where I got these ones since I misplaced mine yesterday. I'm ready.
You deserve some flowers. All right, Christina Laurie reporting for us this morning. Thank you, Christina.
So this story is getting a lot of attention online this morning. Starting next year, you could have some issues boarding your flights if your license does not have a special mark in the corner. The final phase of the Real ID Act, passed back in 2005, goes into effect next year. That means every air traveler will be required to have that ID marked with a star in the upper right corner. If you don't have that, you'll be required to show another form of identification at security checkpoints like a passport. That change happens October 1st, 2020. You can apply to get that star on your license online or at any DMV location.
Very interesting. All right, if you're planning a road trip up north, you might want to make a pit stop in Wisconsin Rapids. The Rapids Tribune reports there's a new shop coming to town that'll sell safe-to-eat cookie dough. I'm sold. The sweet spot will also feature gourmet cupcakes, cinnamon rolls, and fresh baked bread. But the best part, customers can also pick up pup cakes for their dogs. That store opens tomorrow at noon.
All right, up next, we are talking hoops, hoping the Greek freak, my man, Giannis Antetokounmpo, number 34, will be off the bench for the Bucks' first playoff game this weekend.
Milwaukee preparing for a pretty big celebration for the Bucks starting today. We will share why you might want to make a quick Milwaukee road trip. That's when News 3 Now this morning continues. All right, so we might not see the sun today, but Mr. Bill Widman has us covered with this gorgeous shot out of central Jefferson County. Beautiful sunrise. Thanks so much for sharing, Bill. What does your morning look like? Take a picture, post it on our Facebook page or on Twitter, and use the hashtag MyNews3Morning so we can find and share our favorites right here on the program. All right, Bucks fans, we're doing a little research for you this morning. The starting price on StubHub for the first NBA playoff game at the Fiserv this weekend, right around $85.
Yeah, the Thunder, not just in the forecast, they were at the Fiserv Forum last night. Giannis Antetokounmpo, Brook Lopez among those on the bench for the Bucks, and well, it had an impact. Milwaukee fell to Oklahoma City 127-116. Chris Middleton put up 21. Tim Frazier played every minute of the game, scoring 29. The top-seeded Bucks will start their playoff journey at 6 o'clock Sunday night with another game Wednesday night, both of those against the Pistons.
The Milwaukee River will look a little different on Friday when the Bucks celebrate the start of the playoffs by dyeing the river green. To kick off the celebration, the Water Street BMO Harris Bank will have an 18-story Fear the Deer display starting tomorrow and lasting through the first round of the playoffs. Pretty cool.
Yeah, very exciting for Milwaukee. Come on, get excited, folks. What you might also get excited for is a nap today, because it is a good day to cuddle up in some blankets yet again. Hattie's forecasting everything from rain, freezing rain, to snow, thunderstorms. But hey, At least we'll be in better shape by the weekend. Your first alert forecast is straight ahead.
We know who won't be napping today. Everybody's birthday on April 1st. We want to say happy birthday, especially to Peyton and all the kiddos turning 3 today. Thanks for celebrating with us here on News 3 Now this morning.
Good morning from the News 3 Now First Alert Weather Center. It is Severe Weather Awareness Week, but we're dealing with more winter weather lately than spring weather. Let's take a look, though, at something that's happening this weekend. If you are interested in learning more about severe weather, the Dark Skies event is at Madison College on Saturday. It's all day, 8:30 in the morning till 4 in the afternoon. The director of the National Weather Service will be there. There'll be some severe weather planning scenarios taking place and also severe weather safety tips. So if you are interested in learning more, definitely head out to Madison College on Saturday. We are talking snow, though, this morning. Here are some of the snow totals that I've been able to gather so far. Dupree, South Dakota, you're the winner. 18 inches of snow. That's one of the highest totals that I saw. Vienna, South Dakota, over 9 inches. Rapid City, 7 inches. St. Paul, Minnesota, picked up 4.5 inches of snow. Here in Madison, that makes our 1.7 inches look pretty small when you look at some of these other numbers, but it was a daily record for us in the capital city, most snow that we've ever had on April 10th. And we do have snow on the ground again, all the way from the Dakotas and Nebraska through Minnesota and parts of central and northern Wisconsin. That's due to this last historic storm that continues to slowly make its way through the midsection of the country. We have ice storm warnings just south and east of Sioux Falls, blizzard warnings from Minnesota all the way down to Colorado this morning, snow falling and strong winds causing whiteout conditions. Here's the latest on the radar map, a pretty wide band of snow from Nebraska all the way into into northern Wisconsin and Michigan this morning. In Iowa, though, we've seen some development with some showers and thunderstorms over the last couple of hours, and those will move through southern Wisconsin. We've already had one round with some lightning and thunder and some small hail push through areas north of Madison. The next round not too far off. As we go through the morning hours, there still is a potential for a little bit of mixed precipitation, but this afternoon it will be warm enough for all rain. There is a marginal risk for severe weather for the southern third of the state today. Again, main threats would be large hail and damaging winds. Take a look at your GFS Future Track forecast model. That mix line still pretty close to Madison this morning. As we head towards the afternoon, though, it lifts northward into the northern part of the state. So again, rain for southern Wisconsin with temperatures in the 40s. Things start to wind down on Friday. Best chances for rain or snow will be to our northwest. Still pretty windy, though, tomorrow with a southwesterly wind at 15 to 25 miles an hour. Here's a look at your Future Track snow potential. Really minimal amounts for our far northern viewing area. Several inches, though, still possible through the day today for northern Wisconsin. Let's take a look now at our current conditions here in southern Wisconsin. We're starting at 33 here in Madison, 34 in Mineral Point. Winds are very strong. It's an easterly wind today, sustained around 20 to 30 miles an hour this morning, gusting even higher. We could see some of those wind gusts in the 40 to 45 mile an hour range. Your Future Track wind speed forecast then calls for the winds to finally lighten up as we head into the overnight hours. But as far as precipitation is concerned, still a risk for some mixed precipitation through about 10 o'clock this morning. Heading towards lunchtime, maybe a little bit of a break in the activity. However, there will be some rounds of showers and thunderstorms pushing through the area right through the evening. Rain winds down then overnight. Your extended forecast has temperatures in the 40s through the weekend. Saturday will be the best day.
All right, thanks so much, Hattie. We'll be right back.
6:53, time for the morning sprint. Christina Laurie is looking ahead to sunnier skies with a preview of the first outdoor farmers market of the season.
But we start with Hattie McLean's wintry alert day forecast for some messy precipitation and even thunderstorms. Hattie?
A messy mixture of precipitation across the area today. Let's take a look at our wind advisory that's in effect for southern Wisconsin until 1 o'clock this afternoon. There's a winter weather advisory in effect for the northern viewing areas also till 1. Some mixed precipitation from Madison and points to the north this morning. Rounds of showers and even some thunderstorms expected on and off today, in addition to a very strong easterly wind. Temperatures will climb to highs in the mid-40s this afternoon with a marginal risk for severe thunderstorms.
Yesterday's snow didn't stick to the roads for the most part, but the drive was still a little slicker than usual. A semi went off the road west of Boston, shutting down the interstate there for hours during the evening commute. As we wait for spring, State Patrol is reminding all of us about those winter standards. Here they are. Slow down, give other drivers plenty of space, and leave plenty of time to get where you're going.
After 5 long months, the outdoor Dane County Farmers Market returns to the square this Saturday. On any given Saturday, you'll find 130 to 160 vendors here. There are 9 new vendors this year, selling a wide range of products, including organic cranberries, apples, goat meat, smoked trout, and more. In season right now, lots of greens, lettuce mixes, kale, and spinach. You can also pick up storage crops like potatoes, sweet potatoes, carrots, and cabbage. And like any spring, there will be lots and lots of plants. Market season starts at 6:15 this Saturday morning. See you there.
Thank you, Christina. Breaking this morning, WikiLeaks founder Julian Assange has been arrested in London. Police are now confirming that arrest was on behalf of the U.S. authorities and for breaching bail conditions in the U.K. Assange has been living in the embassy in Ecuador since 2012, but that country withdrew his asylum status. He's accused of publishing thousands of classified U.S. military documents through WikiLeaks and helping the Russians publish emails stolen from the Clinton campaign and the Democratic Party during the 2016 election.
A former UW health doctor charged with sexually assaulting a patient is set to be in court later today. Michael Tom faces a count of second-degree sexual assault by a healthcare employee and another for fourth-degree sexual assault. According to a criminal complaint, Tom groped and kissed a female patient in 2016. He's also accused of sending her illicit photos.
As Dane County works on a new plan for updated jail facilities, there's a vote today to make sure the current jail stays safe for law enforcement and inmates. Supervisors will approve contracts to maintain and repair security systems and upgrade surveillance. The sheriff's office is specifically asking for money to replace the old video monitoring setup, which would allow recorded videos to more effectively maintain someone's privacy.
The state's Department of Transportation wants to double the number of Amtrak trains from the Twin Cities to Milwaukee and Chicago. If it's approved, it would increase service to 2 eastbound and westbound trips daily and expand the number of destinations to 7 cities across Wisconsin. Right now, that plan is expected to cost around $75 million, up to 80% of which would be covered by federal grants. The state would match the rest.
Are you ready?
Yes and no. I mean, it's been an exciting year for me, obviously, but I have mixed feelings about it.
Tonight is the start of UW band director Mike Lecrone's final concert series. After 50 years as the director, Lecrone's career has lasted longer than any other Big Ten band director. We will have more of Susan Simon's conversation with Lecrone coming up tonight on News 3 Now at 10.
6:56 your time now. Let's turn it over to Josh Tim with a look at your traffic. Hey, Josh.
Yeah, still moving all right on the Beltline. Just a few brake lights showing up westbound now between Stoughton Road and West Broadway. The usual slowdowns on inbound John Nolan at Rimrock and Olin Avenue moving into the downtown Madison area. And big delays on Highway 151 starting just outside of Verona, continuing until the Highway PD intersection. I would plan on at least 10 minutes there. And other routes heading into the city moving at the posted speeds with no issues. Your First Alert Traffic, I'm Josh Tim.
Thanks, Josh.
And we have raindrops on the camera lens this morning here at the station. It is going to be kind of a wet day on and off for southern Wisconsin. Here's a look at the latest image on the radar map. Some mixed precipitation still occurring north of Madison. Temperatures will climb into the 40s, so it turns to all rain this afternoon. But those strong east winds will stick with us through the day.
We will continue to watch power outages throughout the day. We still have a few hundred left around southern Wisconsin. They are working hard to get that restored. Take care.